books are all about the spaces between panels, but they're also, it's about the life is a collection of moments. Like life is like a bunch of panels, and in every other medium, it's a very fluid process. But in comics, you're forced to see every moment for what it is.
The comic books could make real statements, have real social impacts. They could talk about things that were actually relevant and important.
Because you can read, just read about characters like that are, they're outcast too, but like, in a way, but like they can, rise above that and still be able to do good in the world despite the fact that, they have people like ragging on them and trying to bring them down all the time.
I mean, I read comic books, and then I love dinosaurs, and I'm a science geek, and so it's really easy to feel, especially back in high school when I wasn't considered cool, so.
I was a weird kid, an outcast and all that stuff too, I played D&D and read comic books and listened to Rush. And,
I was like maybe one of like three people in my high school who you could consider like the geek type of I was into comic books, anime, played a lot of video games, you name it, like fantasy novels, all that. So yeah, and I just kind of felt like there really wasn't a lot of people I could talk to and stuff, and because people are dicks, got made fun of because of that. So.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
When my that sounds so cliche and stupid.
Say it, dude.
No, well, so when my grandma died, I had never really experienced that kind of death before. And it was a really difficult time for me because I was very close to my grandma, and her death was kind of sudden. Well, death is always sudden, but the moment that got me was it had been a while, and I was still trying to process it, and I read Ultimate Spider-Man, which was a retelling of Peter Parker's origin story as Spider-Man, and the part when Uncle Ben died, I don't know, I think that was a moment that really sort of made me understand that other people knew what it was like to lose someone, and even though he was a fictional character, I related so well, and that helped me to understand that you could waste away and just be really sad about this thing, or you could turn it into, you could make it a positive, you could become obsessed with death, or you could become obsessed with life, and I think that's what I learned from that. Uncle Ben, before he dies, tells Peter that with great power comes great responsibility, or some variation of that phrase, and Peter just sort of, whatever, teenager, it's your stupid uncle telling you how to live your life. And then when he dies, and Peter could have done something to stop it, he had the power, but he chose not to. I mean, that's one of the best origin stories in superhero comics, I think.
I didn't realize in time that with great power there must also always be great responsibility. But I know it now. And so long as I live, Spider-Man will never shirk his duty again.
He's all about responsibility, which doesn't sound very cool, but I think the fact that he's just a kid, you know, or when he starts out. I mean, he grows up, but when he starts out, he's just a kid, doesn't really know what he's doing, but he decides, I'm gonna use these powers for good because that's the right thing to do. And I think that's the kind of thing that most teenagers would not choose to do.
And I might as well call myself Spider-Man. Okay, world, better hang on to your hat. You're about to meet the original web-swinging wonder.
It's actually really interesting that Spider-Man's my favorite superhero because I have really extreme arachnophobia. Like people say that they're an arachnophobe, and really they just mean I don't like spiders. But I will be paralyzed with fear when I see a spider. Even like the smallest spider, I'll be like,
Ouch, something bit me. It was just a spider. Why do I feel so strange, so different? I better go get some fresh air.
It's definitely kind of interesting that my favorite superhero is someone that gets power from my greatest fear.
I'm like some sort of giant insect. Like a wall-crawling human spider.
There's definitely a bit of Peter Parker inside of me. So, I mean, I'm a nerd, science geek, weirdo. In high school, I was not so much with the popular. But, so I can definitely relate to that. I mean, I had friends and stuff, but definitely an outcast. And so that makes it very easy to relate. And I mean, I think that everybody, power and responsibility, it doesn't just mean superheroes. Everybody has something they can do and something they should do. And it's important to recognize that we all have power and we all have the responsibility to use that power wisely.
Robbers, killers, beware. Spider-Man is here.
You're listening to 89.9 FM, KBGA here in Missoula. And for the next half hour or so, we're going to get a little patriotic. You know, it's, Veterans Day was yesterday, right? And, you know, it's still an observance today. People are still observing it. So we're going to throw in some old folksy ballads about veterans and soldiers and stuff like that. So we got some Townes Van Zandt, some Sam Stone from John Prine, and some Johnny Cash coming up. And, yeah. Stick around. 89.9 FM, KBGA loves ya. Oh man, when I was younger, I really appreciated the Hulk, for one. I love it's such a depressing story, you know. It's just it's a total isolationist story. It's this man who can never connect with anyone because, you know, the first time he like gets upset and he kills everyone around him. So it's like this complete like lack of love and just totally alone and separate. I really like that. I like that concept as I was growing up.
Dr. Banner, exposed to the full radiation of gamma rays, has turned into a monstrous Hulk.
Hey, you changed! Out of my way, insect! Where am I? Why am I locked in here? I want out! 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 Out!
I can see where you get the idea that it's like a Dr. Jekyll story, but the difference is that like Dr. Jekyll was trying to change himself, whereas the story of the Hulk is exactly different. He didn't want to change himself. That was an accident. He wasn't trying to experiment on himself. And it's really just a manifestation of his poor ability to communicate.
No! Don't! Stand back! You aren't human! Oh! Stop or you'll kill us!
I think it's often viewed as a character with anger issues, but to me, The Incredible Hulk is a story about the ultimate passive-aggressive pussy. Banner is this, you know, he's this like nerdy scientist who he can't express himself emotionally, and when he does, it erupts in an awful fashion. But it's not him that's erupting. Like, really, he just, like, takes a back seat and lets someone take over to express his feelings.
How do I know that I won't become a monstrous Hulk once more, anywhere, at any time? Yet I can only sit here waiting, wondering when I may again change into that brutal, bestial, subhuman creature.
I've never been an emotional communicator myself. I don't really identify with that, but I do identify with being an intelligent nerd. So I get the passive-aggressive thing. You know, for me, maybe it's like notes written to a third person to a roommate, but but you know, not erupting into violence and devastation. There's also the I guess the loneliness of that story. There's like this inherent loneliness in the story of the Hulk that comes with him being a poor emotional communicator. Because you know, you can't have close people in your life if you aren't willing to have emotional intimacy with people, and that's something that's not available to the character of the Hulk.
Bruce Banner? Who's Bruce Banner? I know that face, but it is weak, gentle. I hate it.
The man in this picture, he was you before you changed. You can't hate him.
I like my Hulk to just want to be left alone, and if not, want to smash. That's all I want from the Hulk.
This is gonna kind of sound a little bit cliched, but Superman, like I really love Superman as a character. I mean, he is kind of that archetypal like paragon superhero who's, you know, all about the, you know, true justice and the American way, all that.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. The infant of Krypton is now the Man of Steel, Superman.
He's a guy who, like, he doesn't falter, like, from his beliefs, like, despite, like, how many, like, people just give sorry, despite the fact how many people just give him, like, you know, will give him crap about that. I mean, there was an entire story arc where he took on a group of, like, superheroes who were not afraid to kill people and just try to, you know, do things like that. But at the same time, like, he didn't waver, like, at all, like, in that. He's just like, this is how I do things, and I'm gonna stick to the way I do things. I mean, yeah, because I think it's the best way to go about it. And I can look up to somebody like that who will stick to their beliefs no matter what.
Hurling cars and pedestrians into the river below. The police have warned everyone to remain in their homes.
This looks like a job for Superman.
People look up to him and stuff, and how, like, he's this symbol of justice in the American way. Kryptonite is his one physical weakness. It can damage him and things like that, but it's more, I think Superman's weaknesses are probably the more dangerous ones are, like, the psychological ones they can have. Like, if he can't save certain people, or, like, just save people in general, like, it weighs on him, like, because of, like, how powerful he is. Like, he has that mentality of, I am this powerful, I should be able to help these people, be able to help as many people as I can. So
that's what makes him a hero.
Yeah, that he has, like, that complex of, I need to help people, and if I can't, then what good am I?
Congratulations, Lois. That was a great scoop.
Yes, Chief. Thanks to Superman.